Chucky's such a good movie. Hi everybody, this is your boy and today we're going to review another film. I hope you're doing okay. I'm doing okay myself, despite the fact that I'm feeling a little queasy from the overdose of nostalgia. Today I'm going to review Ready Player One, written by Zach Penn and Ernest Cline. This film was directed by the great creator of 80s nostalgia himself, Steven Spielberg. This guy's made so many films, I'm not even going to try to get into the things I like and the things I don't like. I reviewed his last film, The Post, on this channel not too long ago, actually. It was a decent film, but I'm having a hard time remembering what I had to say about it, so I think that kind of shows you how I feel about it. And while Ready Player One is a lot different from that previous film, it's kind of just another decent Spielberg entry that you'll watch one time and have fun doing so, but you won't really have much of a desire to see it again. Ready Player One follows Wade Watts, played by Ty Sheridan, who's a poor teenager living with his aunt in the year 2045 in Columbus, Ohio, which is turned into this dystopian wasteland that looks like a massive junkyard or something. He lives in this trailer that's stacked on top of a bunch of other trailers, making it look like the Tower of White Trash or some shit. As a way of trying to escape from this wasteland, he and what seems to be the majority of humanity spend most of their time in the Oasis, which is this virtual world where you can essentially be a fully customizable video game character and do whatever you want. The protagonist and many other people spend most of their time in the Oasis looking for the golden Easter egg hidden by the creator of this world, James Halliday, who's played by Mark Rylance. He promises to hand the Oasis and his entire fortune over to whoever finds it. The only way to unlock the golden Easter egg is by acquiring 3 different keys that are hidden inside the Oasis, which an evil corporation named IOI is after so that they can control the Oasis for themselves. So Wade Watts and his nerd friends who have probably never been laid need to find these keys before IOI does so that they don't ruin the Oasis. I find it really funny that a massive media corporation like Warner Brothers made a film about how corporations are bad and greedy and ruin the things we love purely for profit, while they're essentially cashing in on the overload of 80s nostalgia and pop culture in this film. But if I'm being honest, I did have a good time watching this film for the most part, and I think most people who do watch it will have a good time, especially if you played a lot of video games growing up, obviously. What really makes this film work is that it's paced very well, it's fun, and it knows what it is for the most part. It's really cheesy, but the film embraces the cheese and it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's technically impressive with some good cinematography, but what really stands out in my mind is the sound design, which is a big part of the reason why the race scene towards the beginning of the film is so good. I'm not a huge fan of films that contain a lot of cartoony CGI like this one, but it did look like something that came from an actual video game, so I think it ultimately works. Most of the film takes place inside the Oasis, and I felt like it did a pretty good job of exploring this world and getting a lot out of it. It can be a little overwhelming sometimes though. The film definitely relies way too much on nostalgia in the third act, where it's just getting thrown at you constantly. But it actually wasn't the incessant references to 80s pop culture that bothered me the most. It has a good number of issues with its story. For a film that tries to act as a commentary on the dangers of virtual reality, it sure has a hard time building the real world of this story and establishing its characters. I don't see how that commentary is merited when you can't even fucking present the real world in an interesting way. I was so annoyed with how this film tries to explain this entire dystopian future in a lazy-ass 10-minute voiceover. And I understand there's a lot of story to tell, but they don't do any of it visually hardly. A lot of the time, they just tell you what's going on. So much story is crammed into the 140-minute runtime of this film that it never gets to fully flesh out the ideas that it wants to convey. I never felt like I had a full grasp of who the 2 main characters were as people, who are essentially the best players in the Oasis. Ty Sheridan and Olivia Cooke, who plays Artemis, both pull in good performances, especially Olivia Cooke, but I never really bought the relationship between them because it never felt earned. The film has such a hard time explaining things properly in an effective way. There's so many things in it that just doesn't make any sense. Before I continue, I want to issue a minor spoiler warning. I don't think anything I'm about to say is going to ruin the experience of the film, but if you want to go into it not knowing anything so that you can get the most out of it, then please go to this point in the video so you don't hear those minor spoilers. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So there's a character who gets captured by IOI at one point, and they get put into this box or cage to serve as an indentured player or a servant, I guess. They get out of this box after their friends tap into the intercom and instruct them to pull on a lever inside of the box that's almost directly above them. Why the fuck would a technologically advanced corporation put a lever inside this box, allowing them to escape when they can just put it outside of the box so they can't reach it? Why didn't you think of that? What was also really dumb is that the villain of this film, played by Ben Mendelsohn, leaves his written password on his chair that literally anyone can see if they walk into his office. He's supposed to be this clumsy, quirky, and half-witted character, I guess, but I refuse to believe that the owner of a technologically advanced corporation in the future would ever do that. IOI in general just seems like a really incompetent, evil corporation. They have a ninja and drones that can track down people in this massive dystopian city, but for some reason, they can't find a character who wanders around in their own facility for over half an hour. Doesn't this facility have cameras? Isn't there a security team looking for this person? Ben Mendelsohn certainly was, and he's the owner of the company. There's also a point where Waithe tells Artemis or Olivia Cooke his real name inside the Oasis in such reckless fashion. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, I get that him revealing his name goes to show how reckless some people can be with their information online, which is a scary thought. But surely there are tons of different ways you can reveal your identity to a person you care about without having to say your name in a public area. With that much said though, I did have a good time watching this film. It's fun, exciting, cool to look at sometimes. And while it did make plenty of mistakes and there's all sorts of shit that just doesn't make any sense, I didn't go into this film really expecting a masterpiece, so it was pretty easy to look past these errors, and it didn't really sour the experience at the end of the day. I'm going to give Ready Player One a 3 out of 5. Thanks for watching, everybody. You are so kind. Leave a comment with your thoughts on Ready Player One in the comment section below, and leave a recommendation while you're down there on a film that I should watch and review next. Be sure to check out the other content on my channel if you like what you see. I have a review for Black Panther Unsane and I Love Dogs coming your way soon. Hit the like if you like this video, or share this video, or both, whichever you prefer. And if you dig the channel, then as always, please subscribe to the channel. That would be really nice of you. Thanks again, guys. This is your boy Josh, and yeah, I'll talk to you later.